So what we're doing is 3 times shampoo. Cannot be the same person. You must shampoo a final shampoo, which is your 4th shampoo. That will be your shampoo test. Myself, Miss Slater, or Mrs. Rosicki can give you the shampoo test. Can you pass this back to Skyla? There are a couple steps to shampooing. When you are shampooing, the very first thing that you're going to use, obviously you will need a shampoo cape. You will need towels. So you need a shampoo cape. I say 2 to 3 towels. You'll need your standard comb and a brush. Bless you. You will make sure that you barbicide the sink and you use Murphy's oil soap on the chair. You do not spray barbicide on the chair, okay, because that will eat the leather of the chair out. You make sure that your station is sanitary for your client. You bring your client over, you ask them to have a seat. You are going to drape your client. When I say drape your client, you're going to take your towel and you're going to fold it long ways. You are going to wrap it around your guest. So that it's protecting their neck. You are then going to take your cape and you're going to wrap it on top of the towel. The towel helps protect the client if you accidentally get water on their back. You can pull the chair up. You'll need a clipboard, that way you can hear. So I want to make sure that I'm not choking my clients and I'm hitting the snaps right there. I'm snapping the cape and I'm pulling it over the back of the chair. So she is draped for a shampoo service. The next thing we're going to do is you're going to brush your client's hair, which is how you are doing a visual to see if there's anything on your client's scalp that should stop you from doing the shampoo service. Remember, you are not a doctor. You are not a nurse. You cannot tell your clients that they have anything. If they have lice, you cannot tell them that they have lice. You have to say, I'm sorry, I need to stop the service immediately and you need to go see your PCP or your doctor. You are not legally allowed to say it. Even if you have the super lice that is waving back at you on their head, you cannot tell them that's what it is. Okay? It's so important that you understand that you cannot ever diagnose or think or say, I think, I'm suggesting. You cannot say that. You just stop your service and you send them on their way, okay? So when you're doing this, you are going to split the client's head, their hair, in half. So you're going to go right by the occipital. And you're going to clip it out of the way. So I have the bottom portion of her hair available. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to start at the ends of the hair and I'm going to work my way up to the scalp. And the reason you do that is you're checking the hair as you're brushing it down. Why don't I start at the top of the scalp and work my way down? What happens? If I start here and brush down, what happens to that hair?
Breakage.
Breakage. It can cause frizziness. It can cause static. There's friction there. You want to always start, especially if there's any kind of tangle in the hair, you want to make sure that you're brushing it so that the tangles easily glide out of the head. You don't want to start here and yank the hair down, okay? Always start at the bottom and work your way towards the scalp. Now, as I'm going in, I'm going underneath the hair and on top of the hair because I want to see if there's anything that I need to worry about, and there's not. Okay, my hands have already been sanitized. My station has been sanitized. My sink that I'm taking her in has already been sanitized. Okay? Again, barbicide on the sink, Murphy's oil soap on the chair. Then I split it down the middle. And again, I'm taking small sections so that you can see the scalp and you can see from scalp to end on that hair. It's really important to do this because you want to make sure there's nothing that's going to stop you from performing your service. There are clients that may have psoriasis. You're going to see that on their scalp. As long as there's not open wounds, you can shampoo. Okay? So again, taking these partings, and as I'm taking these partings, my guest doesn't know that I'm looking at her scalp. I'm searching for anything that would be something that would be a red flag or a stop service immediately. Okay? So again, she has no idea. She thinks I'm just parting her hair. And I'm starting at the ends and I'm working my way up. What's another reason why we brush before our service? Why do you think? What happens if I shampoo and they have all kinds of tangles in their hair and I take them straight to the sink? What happens? It can cause matting. It can cause the tangles to be even worse. And then you're making more work for yourself. So again, as I'm examining the scalp, I'm going in and I'm just brushing that hair back, making sure that it's nice and smooth, ready to go. I'm repeating that on the other side. Again, starting at the ends and working my way to the scalp. I'm examining the scalp as I'm separating those sections. Okay, it's really, really important that you examine your client's scalp. These services are not going to be quick because you do have to do 2 parts to it. Starting at my ends and working my way up, I go on the bottom and the top. Why do I go underneath and on the top? Where do you find most of your tangles, especially in younger kids? Underneath by the nape of the neck. If you wear a lot of Columbia, fleece jackets, if you wear hoodies, your hair will always tangle back here. Okay? So the last thing I'm doing is I'm just checking that hair, making sure it's good. She's ready to go. So now I just take her over. I say, we're going to take you over to the shampoo bowl and I'm going to shampoo you today. The most important thing when you have a client come in for the shampoo is we are going to make sure, Kelly, can you turn that just a smidge this way? Just like that. Okay. The back of the cape needs to go over the back of the chair. Okay? Why do we do that? What does that protect? The water dripping from your guest. You also have that towel underneath. And I gently take my hand and I help guide them into the shampoo bowl. Okay? Now her hair's in the shampoo bowl. I guide my hand underneath her neck to make sure there's no hair that got stuck between her neck and the shampoo bowl. Again, what is the very first thing we do before we turn water on? We hold the hose. Yes, so we're holding the hose. We turn the water on. Now remember, some of these sinks are pull up, some of them are tilt back. I always make sure I touch the temperature to the inner fold of my wrist to make sure it's not too hot. My hands can withstand a lot of heat of water, so I want to make sure that I'm not going to hurt my guest. I also have 2 towels set off to the side, so that way while I'm shampooing, if I need a towel, they're right there at my hands. I start at the front of the scalp by the forehead and I work my way around. I'm holding my hand and cupping it around the ear so that water does not get into the ear. I do it on this side. I take my hand and I lift my hand up. So my hand is like this, covering that ear so that she doesn't get water in her ear. You can, if they have long enough hair, like Kelsey fits really good into the sink, but if they have too long a hair or they have a smaller neck, you can have your clients look to the left and the right so that you can get the underneath part of their hairline. You want to make sure that you're cleaning that, especially if you do a color service or if you do any type of chemical. You want to make sure that nape of the neck is free of any of those chemicals. So now I'm turning my water off and I'm grabbing my shampoo. You only need a quarter size. You don't need a lot. So I have a quarter size shampoo. I'm gonna start at the nape of the neck and I'm gonna work my way up to the scalp. When I get to the scalp, I'm going to gently massage that shampoo into the scalp. You do not want to use your fingernails, you want to use your fingertips. So you always want to make sure that you're massaging that in. And you do right above the ears, you do behind the ears, and you just keep massaging that hair. You can gently lift if you need to, and you just keep going back and forth. Your clients, this is sometimes their most favorite part of the service is the shampoo. Nobody wants to get a shampoo where you're just kind of like touching the head. You want to get in there and you want to massage your client. Some of them will tell you to do it a little harder. Some of them will tell you to do it a little softer. You will base your clients on what they tell you. You want to make sure you hit every part of that scalp, because who here has had their hair washed before and the underneath didn't get clean? And you're like, great, now I have to go back and re-shampoo my hair after you paid for a service. So I make sure that I can see those suds on every part of her hairline. And I go under, I'm underneath her scalp, I'm by the nape of her neck, so I know that she's clean underneath there as well. And then I take it out and I just go ahead and in my hands, I massage the ends. I don't want to take their hair and scrunch it up. You want to work downwards. Why do we work downwards and not scrunch the hair up when we're shampooing? Creates tangles, yep. And I try to give a nice massage on the head. I don't want to rush through, hurry up and put the shampoo on and rinse it out. Now when I'm going to rinse out, I move my hands from the front of the head and I slide them back to the end of the hair. I grab the hose, I turn the water on, and I check the temperature. Is that temperature okay? I did take my jewelry off except for my bracelet. Usually I don't wear bracelets when I'm shampooing because the water will drip on your client. So when you wear a lot of jewelry to the salon, you have to remember when you're shampooing, is that going to drip on your client's face? And I go through and I kind of massage my hands around the scalp when I'm getting the shampoo out to make sure that the water, if you have really thick hair, sometimes the water won't penetrate into the hair, so you have to move that hair around as well. So I'm still lightly massaging the head so that I can make sure all of that shampoo is out. And then when I'm getting it to the back, because her hair is longer, I'm lifting the hair up and I'm aiming the water towards the sink. This makes sure that I'm eliminating the chance of the client getting sprayed in the face with the water, okay? How many times have you gotten shampooed and you jump because they've gotten you in the face with water? It's not fun. Or when they've soaked your ear, that's always great too. Now, you can shampoo twice. If you feel like your guest needs to be shampooed twice, you absolutely can. I am not going to shampoo her twice for time purposes for the demonstration. Now her hair, I kind of go in because her hair is longer and I just lift it up and I'm looking to see if there's any soap suds left in the hair. And there is not. I want to make sure underneath I feel to make sure it feels clean and it doesn't feel like there's some shampoo left. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my towel and I'm going to gently squeeze some of that excess water out of her hair. Why do we do that before we put the conditioner on? So what? So anytime you have something in your hair, it lays on your cuticle. So if you have a ton of water and you try to put a product in, that product's not going to penetrate into the cuticle of the hair. So you want to make sure you towel dry the hair nicely. You don't want to pull hard, and then you can add your conditioner onto it.
Should we be doing that at home too?
Woo! Sorry, Auntie.
It's okay. Should we be doing that at home too? Like,
You should always, when you're shampooing your hair in the shower, you guys should always go through. When you're putting conditioner on, you want to rinse your hair all free of all your shampoo, and then you want to kind of grip your hair to get that moisture out when you're in the shower or when you take a bath, to get that extra moisture out. Then you put your conditioner in. Now the conditioner, a lot of times I start at the mid shaft and I go through and I massage it from the mid shaft of the hair, which is literally 2 to 3 inches away from the scalp, to 2 to 3 inches away from the end of the hair. That is considered the mid shaft of your hair. A lot of times I don't put conditioner on the scalp. If they have thin hair, if they are prone to oily hair, I don't put it on the scalp, because your hair produces its own oils. You want to make sure that you're not adding any kind of moisture to where they are already overly oily. Okay, and you always ask your guests what kind of shampoo. You ask what their hair type is. If it's super oily, you're not going to use a moisturizing shampoo and conditioner, because you're adding more moisture to something that's already oily. If they have color, you would use a color treated shampoo or conditioner. If they have curly hair, you can use a curly shampoo and conditioner. If they have curly hair but they like to wear it straight, you can use a sleek line shampoo and conditioner. So you're going to learn how to use the proper shampoo and conditioners on your guests based on their hair type. That's why it's really important to make sure that you guys are analyzing the client's hair when you're over there brushing it. You can feel the texture, and you'll learn throughout services on what you need to pick and choose for your guest. How you doing so far? Yeah. You ready for a nap?
I kind of hate my hair being shampooed, so not really.
Really? Why did you volunteer? She said she doesn't like her hair getting shampooed, but she volunteered.
My hair is dirty.
All right. So I'm testing the temperature again, and I'm making sure that it's not going to be too hot for her. And then I'm going to go in and I start at the mid shaft and I start making sure that I'm massaging that hair to get that conditioner out. The very last part of what I do is I rinse the scalp off, because you want to make sure that there's no products left in the hair. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to wrap your client's hair up. As soon as you're done rinsing it out, you want to make sure that you towel dry again, because you don't want it to be sopping wet. You'll towel dry it, and then you'll wrap it, and you will walk your client to your station. You're not going to want to tell them where to go. You don't say, hey, go to station 3. They have no idea what station 3 is. You always want to make sure that you keep contact with your guest at all times. Her hair is longer, so I do lift it up and have the water spraying down on it, so that way it's not sitting in the conditioner that's in the sink. So I'm going to take my towel and I'm going to towel dry the hair. Now her hair is longer, so when I'm taking the towel to wrap her hair, I'm going to start from underneath. I have her on top, I'm sorry. I'm going to start on top, and I'm going to tuck underneath her neck. And then I'm going to wrap the hair around. And then I'm going to have her sit up. Chloe, can you turn the camera?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take her to my station, holding her towel, and then I'm going to place this behind the chair. Why would I place this behind the chair? what's gonna happen when I take this down? What would happen to her back if I didn't have this protected?
It would get wet.
It would get wet, yep. While I'm removing the towel, I'm going to take the towel and I'm just gonna kind of real gently get some of that extra moisture out of the hair. Okay? That way it's not dripping on the floor, she's not dripping wet. This is where you would talk about the style that you're gonna do for your guest. So starting at the bottom, you're gonna go through and you're gonna comb your guest's hair. I know she parts it here, so I'm gonna make sure that that's the way that I comb it. The reason I start at the bottom and not on the top, what happens if I would start here and pull all that down? What's gonna happen? It's gonna hurt, her head's gonna pull back, and there's chances that I'm gonna cause some breakage. Okay, so it's really important that you take your time and you don't rush through these services. The biggest thing about why we repeat everything every 9 weeks is because repetition and safety and sanitation. It's really important. Remember, this is the profession where you're touching guests from start to finish. At some point, you're touching their hair, you're touching their toes, you're touching their fingers. So you always want to make sure that in the back of your mind, you are being as safe and sanitary as possible. Does anybody have any questions so far? There was a lot to write. There's a lot to write. Now that I have this side done, I just kind of move it out of the way so that way I don't keep bringing it back into the section that I'm going to comb. Again, I start at the bottom and I work my way up, taking small sections so that you don't hurt them and you don't pull their hair. Making sure that you work from the ends to the scalp. And then before I style or blow dry, I go over and I clean my sink. That way if somebody else has to use that sink, it's not dirty for them, okay? So you're gonna clean it before and you're gonna clean it after. Again, you're gonna use the barbicide and you're gonna spray the barbicide in the sink, you're gonna clean it out, and then you're also gonna clean the chair. You will do that every time. If there's hair in the sink, you'll remove it from the sink basket, the strainer that's inside the sink, and you'll make sure you throw that away. You don't want to ever take a guest to a sink that has hair in it or that is not clean. Who would like to go to a sink that's not clean? I wouldn't. I know on our exit tickets somebody had asked, one of the questions was, why do we have to continually repeat the services we do? Because who here can tell me from the first time you guys did a roller set to your roller sets now, the speed, the partings, the accuracy, you improve. Repetition in this industry is what makes you better. Practice makes perfect. So I'm not going to leave any hair in my client's face. And I'm going to walk away, but I'm going to let my client know I will be right back. I'm going to clean my sink, and then I'll be right back with you. But all of that hair is pulled away. That way it's not dripping on her face. If they have a lot of, like if their hair holds a lot of moisture, you can take your towel, and then you can re-wrap the hair and just set it on the back of the chair like that. That will help pull some of that extra moisture out of their hair as well. So she's sitting comfortably. I come over and I spray everything from the barbicide. I spray the handle, I spray the sink. I'm gonna take my towel. I let it sit for a second. The Murphy's oil soap, I spray. And I I set that aside so that I know that I have both. I want that to sanitize a little bit, so I let the barbicide sit longer than the Murphy's oil soap. I take a towel and I wipe the Murphy's oil soap off of the chair. And if there's any water that has spilled, if you accidentally spill, make sure you clean that up immediately. Stop whatever part of the service you're doing and clean up that water, because you don't want anybody to slip and fall. That's really important. This was the Murphy's oil soap towel, so I set that aside. I hold the hose, I spray a little bit of water, get it on the tip of my towel just a little bit, and then I go in, I hit the neck area because that's where a guest was sitting, and then I clean all of this out. I clean the top of the hose, I clean the top of the sink, I hit this, still holding the hose down, because if you bump this, that water's gonna spray everywhere, okay? I look to see if there's hair in the strainer. There is not. I rinse my towel out, I grab my Murphy's oil soap towel, wrap them together, and I put it immediately into the basket of dispensary. Okay, so that's clean and it's done. The sink is ready for the next person to use. It is sanitary, and then you move back to your guest. There's just a little bit of water in there still. I pull the towel off. Her hair's still nice and smooth from being brushed through. And then we're gonna discuss what services we're gonna do. What would you like done? Just flat iron? Blow dry? Okay. So she wants a blow dry, so I'm gonna get some blow dry lotion or a blow dry spray. Any type of thermal protectant, because I am gonna be blow drying. So anytime you use any heat on your guest, you want to make sure that you're using the proper products. Whose station is this? Whose? Mine. Can I steal your blow dry? Maybe. So I'm gonna rough dry her hair 80%. The reason I'm gonna rough dry it is because you don't start round brushing until it's 80% dry. You're making more work for yourself, and you can actually cause some frizz and breakage on the hair if you try to round brush right away. Okay, you want it to be 80% dry. So I'm gonna go through, and I always put my hands up against the scalp to protect the client's scalp. And then I aim that hair down, okay? I'm aiming the brush, or the concentrator, I'm aiming it down towards the head. I lift the hair with my hands because I can feel the hair, I can feel where it's hot. And then once you get, her hair dries pretty quick, so once you get that point to where you know that it's pretty much dry, you can take your brush and going down away from the client's scalp, you're going to take your brush what is going on? See if that plug works better. Just we're going to take it, aiming down, away from the scalp. Now I'm left-handed, so it's going to be opposite for you guys. You'll be on that side. But everything gets aimed down. If you pull your brush out like this, you still want to go down. You want to work towards yourself. And the reason I'm not going up towards her face with the brush, even in the front part, is because you don't want to burn your guest. Because a blow dryer can get really hot, and if you're not paying attention, if you hold it in one place too long, you're going to burn your desk. You can move the chair, maybe, so that you can get access to the client's scalp a little bit easier, I always cover the ear and pull the hair out away from the ear. That way I'm not burning the ear. I know there's all kinds of kids that have those horror stories of mom curling your hair or blow drying your hair where she burns your ear. So, if you can go through, and I'm following that brush or that blow dryer with my hands. When you want to take the brush in, you just go underneath the hair and you just take it from, and you see how it's nice and smooth from the brush. There's no flyaways. Now if I get it like this and I went up, look at all the flyaways that you don't want to do that. You want to always protect the cuticle. You want to go with the cuticle. You don't want to go against it. When you're using your conditioner, always use a cooler water because that helps seal the cuticle, which helps seal that conditioner in to make your hair softer. You don't want to use warm water when you're using a conditioner. I usually go back and forth. I like to use my hands so that I can feel if the hair is dry or not, because sometimes it will look dry and it's not. And you're just going to complete that the whole way around the head. So in your service, your shampoo service, you're going to do your brushing. You're going to bring your client over, you're going to drape them. You're going to do your brushing. Then you're going to guide your client over to the sink, and then you're going to shampoo them. You're going to put conditioner in them. You're going to walk them back to the station. You're going to clean your sink and chair. Then you're going to come back to your guest and you're going to finish with the blow dry and whatever style that they would like to have done. Okay? We are going to learn flat iron this week, hopefully, if not this week, early next week. So we're going to go right into that and then you can flat iron. Alright, any questions on this shampoo service? I'm going to finish blow drying her, but I'm not going to record because it's going to take about 20 minutes. Any questions at all on the shampoo? No? Okay, have fun.